So what came out of this that's new? I feel as though we've had a few of these CEO panels and discussions, and nothing really new comes out of it.
You're right, Abigail. And I think, I was speaking with some aides on the House Financial Services Committee earlier today, because every time President Trump says, Dodd-Frank, we're going to walk it back, we're going to replace it with something great, they don't get a heads up on that. And so they like what they hear. Chairman Jeb Hensarling of the committee likes what he hears, but he doesn't have a sense of exactly when, from a legislative priority standpoint, they're going to address that, because they were unable to get health care, and now they're seemingly pivoting toward tax reform. But again, some of the CEOs that were in that meeting today have some severe differences, most notably on the border adjustment tax.
Yeah, tax is obviously going to be a big deal. We actually were able to speak with Blackstone CEO Steve Schwartzman. David Weston had that interview earlier today. Let's take a listen.
I think you'll probably have something. It's just a handicap of knowing how comprehensive and aggressive that would be, as opposed to just a tax cut. So we'll see when we see.
So we'll see when we see. Dubious. So who do we think that when we look at these CEOs that are in there, and you watch people coming in, going out, giving interviews, who's going to have the most leverage here when it comes to finance? Because there's some big guys that are in the White House and that are Trump's close associates. And then there are the corporate guys that are still in on the markets.
So there have been a lot of reports in the past several weeks about internal fighting and palace intrigue within the Trump administration. But I would make the case, based on my reporting, that when you look at folks like General H.R. McMaster and you look at folks like Dina Powell as well, they are more closely aligned with the Gary Cohns of the world, the more Treasury Secretary Mnuchin's of the world, as well as Wilbur Ross is in that mix. And so there seems to be, based on my reporting and conversations that I have with the folks around President Trump's political orbit, a more centralized version right now going on, and an isolation of the isolationists, such as, of course, the more nationalistic type of people like Steve Bannon.